Well, details of the next iPhone are leaking out. In a Forbes article, popular phone case maker Ghost Tech has confirmed that it not only knows the iPhone 11's final design, but has started taking pre-orders from customers for its cases. Now, the case images on the website show off the iPhone 11's design from every single angle. I want to bring in Loup Ventures managing director Gene Munster, because so far, Gene, I got to tell you, people aren't that impressed with what they're seeing.
Charles, let me just take a step back and think that this reaction is representative, I think, of a larger issue around the Apple story. And I think at the core of it is it's hard to satisfy the popular, I guess, online media, the crowd-sourced media, and it really misses the significance of what's going on. But I just want to quickly kind of walk through what is expected from this iPhone 11. Now, there's going to be likely 3 phones. Probably the biggest significant difference is they'll add a third camera to the back. Now, currently, the most advanced iPhone has 2 cameras, and a third camera will make more rich images, which is one of the selling points of a phone. They're also looking at adding potentially a thumbprint reader through the screen, which will kind of streamline getting into your phone. And lastly, a new way to charge the phone through a USB-C connector, which would be faster. I can understand that the high level why people just quickly say that this is not enough, but the core of this, the part that gets missed, is you have to think about Apple in terms of every couple years. And well, this cycle coming up is going to be relatively modest in terms of the raw features. When you fast forward to next year when they add 5G, that will be a significant upgrade. And when we put it all together, I think shares of Apple represent the most upside of any large tech cap stock.
Really? Okay, well, that's great to know. So I find this, this criticism on the heels of Johnny Ives leaving and that becoming something controversial, particularly with Tim Cook pretty much up in arms about the way it's been reported in the media. Some people just saying they're losing that pizzazz, that sort of whiz-bang sort of pizzazz that they always kind of possessed.
It's plagued, that kind of theme has plagued Apple since Steve Jobs' death. And I think if you take a step back and look at what they've accomplished, specifically around wearables over the last few years, is representative that pizzazz is still there. And it's important to note, too, the type of avenues that they're looking to continue that around their innovation, particularly around healthcare and around automotive, the future of autonomy and mobility. Those are big areas. They had a recent acquisition, as you know, about last week in that area about mobility.
Right.
So I think that pizzazz is definitely alive, and I think that investors will be rewarded for their patience.
Well, it's one of my oldest personal holdings. I forgot when I bought the stock. I've owned it so long. I want to ask you, Gene, about Samsung warning for its second quarter profits, saying likely cut in half or even a little bit more from last year. So what went wrong here, and what are the broader implications?
So 2 things went wrong here. One is what's happened with Huawei has had a negative impact on their memory business, and separately, Apple's business, and one of the reasons why the stock traded off earlier in the year is what's happened related to their China specifically. Apple's a customer of Samsung, so is Huawei. That had a negative impact on that memory business, and so you have the results today from Samsung. It's in some ways rear-looking, and I think that the most significant piece here is that there are ebbs and flows in these cycles and the features, but ultimately, again, I would focus Samsung will also be a beneficiary from this 5G. It gets a lot of hype. It's hard to conceptualize that. I think that this 5G theme will ultimately live up to its hype and benefit companies like Apple and Samsung alike.
Gene Munster, always appreciate your expertise. Thanks for walking us through that.
Thank you.